it's changed slightly with other people involved. Okay. Right. So we're looking at, the third time we're meeting. And at this stage, you will remember we had looked at the need for a title. I shared two articles, and I'm a little bit embarrassed that one of the articles I shared, because it is from Science Direct, and we really shouldn't be quoting Science Direct, but I thought it was a pretty good article. And then also you will see I shared another article on the importance of the introduction. Can I just see, has everyone sort of got the sense of what we mean by grabbing attention, transitioning into your topic, and giving us a roadmap as part of the introduction? And Joanne, don't worry, because those 5 hours it's a once off. It just happens. Really and truly, it happens to everyone. Has everyone got a sense of what we mean by the approach? Yeah, I'm giving you emotional support because I think I was there as well, truthfully, where I thought I was the most illiterate person on the planet.
Can I just say, I think what took so long is that I am battling to maybe get to the flow. So I did the introduction, and I put in there what I believe the problem statement is, and like you mentioned, putting some personal experience to that, or where I got that problem
Yes.
statement from, and then I started working on the background. But I'm not sure if I was supposed to be working on the background, or was I supposed to be working on the theories and the original theory. So I got a bit confused.
So in your introduction, and remember, your introduction does three things. It grabs our attention. It transitions from there, from that attention grabbing thing, into your topic. You will include your background here. You definitely will include introduction and context. You will include your background there. So you will start talking about stats and numbers and things that brought you to this place where you want to do your research. So when we talk about the context, it talks about the background that has brought us here to this particular point. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. But I just want to check. So your introduction, it says here, is like 150 to 200 words. So that's not really a lot.
But remember, this will grow. So
Okay.
this is the first one, and each of these. So initially, it's not a heck of a lot. So it is the attention grabbing thing. It is a brief context. It's a brief background where, and I like the personal thing, because if you say, this has brought me here, that is important, because part of research is that it's a personal journey. And then just give us some facts and stats and numbers, just to give us a context for the research. But there's not a lot that you can do in 150 words. Okay. You see, for me, it's that thing here, there. The groundwork is, it's starting to tell us where our literature review is going to take us. Also, to just say this adds to others and others and others and others. Okay. It will add to others as this document is finished. When we get to your final research report, you will clump all the reports together. Okay. So that is the first one. Please just remember, it is giving us the topic, and to do the topic, it's a bit of background that's brought us here. Also remembering that we have 150 words. Then we spoke about the theoretical framework. Insofar as the theoretical framework goes, please remember, I spoke about the A, B, and C part of it. I've already met with the pod leaders, and my apologies. I've showed to them our approach in terms of writing the theoretical framework. You'll remember we spoke about part A being the the theory in its original format. So use the original reference from the theory, discuss the theory as it was created initially. please remember that this theory was not created for you to use one day in 2024. So part A is the actual theory in its original format. Part B is always going to be updated views on that theory. So try and look at research that is not older than 6 years. But if you find something fantastic from the year 2000, or it's by a seminal author. Now, a seminal author is someone who is a thought leader within that field. You include that. You'll also remember, in terms of the literature review, how you can, how in the theoretical framework, how you can play different theories off, different views off against one another and build your argument. And then the third component, the C component, is to tell us why this theory is relevant to your research. Just remember that, guys. Part A is the theory in its original format. Part B would be updated views on that theory, and then part C would be the reason this theory is relevant to your research. Has everyone done that in their theoretical framework? Does that
Sorry, Henny,
make sense?
can I
Yeah,
can I
go,
just
Joanne.
just ask a question? So for my research, I'm going to use the technology acceptance model. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's actually, I actually want to use the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology.
Then
So
use
that's
that
the,
one rather.
yes, so I'm going
Use
to
that
use
one
that
rather.
one. But when I
Okay.
do the original one, because obviously this the unified theory of acceptance stems from TAM. Do I start with TAM and explain
It
TAM and
does
then,
stand. No.
or what
This
do I do?
remember, start with the UAT,
Okay.
that unified. Start with that, and then when you do your second part, so discuss the theory in its original form. When you just go to part B, talk about how it evolved from TAM
Okay.
and what. So give us
Right.
the theory just as the
As
UAT.
it is.
Part B, tell us how TAM led to this theory,
Okay.
and then obviously talk about current views on UAT,
Okay. Got it.
and then why it's relevant. Does that
Perfect.
make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, quite like that. Okay. Tiang, when you say you're building on it, what do you mean by that? Have you at least got a theory? Musa, have you got your theory sorted out?
I have my theory sorted out, so I sent it over the weekend and you approved it. So that was a sigh of relief for me because
Oh,
last week I was
did you?
struggling with it.
Oh my gosh! Don't send me things on the weekend because I don't remember weekend. I'm so glad. Okay, no, I remember, Tiang. I
Yeah,
actually do remember. Yeah,
yeah.
no, you use the you. Yeah, it's the career stuff. I like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank
Musa,
you.
have you found a theory?
Yes, I'm using the theory that we spoke about, so I'm just waiting for the pod leader to also
So why did you
confirm it.
ask me about the theory? What theory did we talk about? Don't worry, guys. I bully Musa. Don't think that I'll bully you like I bully Musa.
No worries.
What theory is it, boy?
I haven't reached that point.
So have you not got a theory yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Oh, well, stay on afterwards. Okay, stay on afterwards, and we'll quickly sort something out. Just stay on afterwards, just for 5 minutes. Okay, guys. So, and then obviously your literature. You'll recall that I spoke about in the literature the need for you to arrive at a series of themes. I know that the word count is limited. Ideally, the themes must emerge from your research, and those themes are those logical combinations of research results. Now, those themes, if you've read enough, those themes will appear. And I know that people struggle with the themes from their research. And if you're struggling, it's because you've not read enough yet, guys. So just start. reading, start summarizing. Please, when you read, create summaries of your research. Ideally, that should be part of what you do. And then when you start writing up your literature review, you can almost copy and paste those summaries to start building and constructing your argument. But you have to do a bit of reading. So in terms of that, guys, you can see what the ideal is. It's about existing scholarship. It's about previous scholarship. It's about what thought leaders have said in your particular field. But you have to look, try and limit yourself to not older than 6 years. But honestly, when I did my last bit of study, my oldest reference was 1911. So sometimes you have to go back to the original references, and it carries a lot of value, especially when you're talking about a seminal work or a seminal author or thought leader. What we're looking for in terms of assessing that, we've spoken about that. It is about building the argument. It's about playing different theories off against each other. It's about systematically connecting the different views into a coherent argument. Guys, and then just your paradigm. So I want to go now to the paradigm, and let me find that. Right. So you'll see that we've got all of this. Have I
Sorry,
shared
sir.
this set of slides with you?
Um, sorry. Can I ask before we move
Yeah,
to
have
the
I shared
paradigm?
these slides with Go Ungeziwe?
Yes. On the literature review, I'm sorry to take you back.
Yeah.
The
No, no, man.
theoretical framework, the theory that I'm using, I need to like align it on all the, remember there was that seminal authors, current scholars, and contextual theory. So that strategy is
Contextualize your theory. So A, B,
yes.
and C. Contextualize your theory is when you tell us why this theory is relevant for your research.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So, okay. I think I have it now. Thank you.
Okay. So part A is the theory in its original format. Part B are updated views on the theory. Part C
Yes.
is you telling us why this theory is relevant.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Kanteko. I share so much. I sometimes forget. Okay, to just take you guys through the research paradigms. So the paradigms that we adopt essentially will be interpretivism or positivism. What a paradigm is a view of the world. It is a set of beliefs. It's a belief system. To just explain a paradigm a bit further, often, depending on the paradigm that you belong to, you approach research in a particular way. If you're an interpretivist person, you believe that knowledge and facts are within the context within which they happen. So for an interpretivist, it's almost that perception is reality. And in order to understand people, things, and events, we need to talk to those people, things, and events and understand their perceptions and understand their views of the world and understand their experiences. It is that sort of putting yourself in the shoes of the other person. It's understanding how they view the world, what they think of people, things, and events, what their perceptions are. If you're a positivist, your view of the world is that everything is objective and that everything essentially can be reduced to numbers and stats and science, and that you essentially don't care too much about people's views. It is what can be proven factually. I don't know if I used this example last week, and if I have, my apologies. But if you have a car accident and there are 5 people standing next to the road, what will happen is when the investigators go and speak to those 5 people and understand their views and understand their perceptions of the accident, that would be interpretivism. When the same accident investigators go and measure the distance of the skid marks where the accident happened, try and calculate the speed that the people drove at. That to me is the positivist side. So the difference is, on the one hand, we listen to the witnesses and their views and experiences, etc., and their perceptions. And on the other hand, and that's on interpretivism, and on the other hand, we go and take things that are factually. We look at how far the car has skidded. We calculate how fast the vehicles were driving. We calculate the angle at which the vehicles were when the accident happened. Those things would be the positivist approach to things. Tiang, I said no, we're not using both. That is critical realism. We don't have the time to do it. I wouldn't even allow people to do it at an honors level. And honors has an entire year. You can't do both. And I'm going to be hard and fast on that. But no, you're choosing one. Okay, you're choosing one. So in terms of that, I went through this, guys. So from a positivist and interpretivist, and these are the two we're limiting ourselves to. These are the two we're limiting ourselves to. In terms of what reality is, from a positive perspective, reality is something separate from the researcher. It is a single reality. It is everyone sees that reality and will interpret that reality the same, because we use numbers and stats to support our evidence. Here, reality is how, as we see it, as we live it. Perception is reality. Remember that term. The second one, what do we consider as valid knowledge? For a researcher, it's something separate from what we are researching. The reality, if you are an interpretivist, you will engage, you will understand, you will become part of that research in interpreting things. This is done scientifically. In terms of the values here, value-free, unbiased, obviously, because our own values would form part of the research, there will be elements of our own biases. And Joanne, you said you started off with a personal experience. So immediately when you tell me that, I know you're doing a qualitative bit of research, and that personal experience will influence your interpretation of things. However, we will account for that interpretation. We'll account for our own values, but that happens a little bit later. Guys, in terms of the language, yeah, here you will write in the third person. Please stay away from saying the researcher, find a better way of describing things. I think just initially, when it comes to the in particular, the theoretical framework, the introduction a little bit, and then the literature review, please be a little bit more formal. But once we start presenting our findings and our codings and our analyses, we'll allow a slightly more informal way of writing, but that will happen down the road. In terms of the methodology, what am I saying? Yeah, here we talk about a deductive process. So we move from the general to the specific. So we take a theory and we prove it within a specific context. We like the idea of doing an inductive approach where we move from the specific, so that the perceptions, the experiences, the beliefs, the views, etc., and we create a generalized idea of those. Please remember, at this level, we're not creating a theory, but I am going to ask that we adopt an inductive approach. Guys, and you can see I've given you more examples and descriptions of these. There are more. Stay away from critical realism. Right? And then the last bit that we look at, note here, guys, more than 6 seminal sources. A seminal source is a source from somebody that would be considered a thought leader. Yes, of course, Josh, no problem, would be considered a thought leader within this specific field. So this is somebody that is renowned for being somebody who is considered to be an expert in that field. So when we think of management, Porter will always be a source. It is that kind of level and we know how many theories Porter has been involved with. Mintzberg would be considered a seminal source, and you guys will remember that from last semester. So just remember that the seminal sources are those thought leaders, those experts in the field that we're looking for. And they're asking for 6. So you will see who the thought leaders are, guys. Can I just ask, have you had your library session? Have you had your library session? Justine, please try and be there. I've asked Tammy to tell the librarian to show you Research Rabbit, to show you Zotero. Please make sure that you're there. If they don't show you Research Rabbit, please ask them to show you Research Rabbit. Research Rabbit, and I honestly, I need to spend a bit of time in it. Research Rabbit will often point to who your thought leaders are. So just please ask about it, but I'm 100% certain that the lady will do that. Okay. Can I just see what time tomorrow is that, Justine? Has everyone got that in their diary? 19:30. Okay, thank you. Guys, and then just remember your academic writing style. The only thing I can say to you is just remember your own voice. What often happens when we do research is that people become this swallow a thesaurus, try and sound academic, impressive, trying to impress people with language that's not their own. Please do me a favor. Once you've written 1 or 2 paragraphs, read them, record them, and listen to yourself. Please make sure that you keep your voice. Everyone has a writing voice. And my concern is when we do this stuff, I don't know, people somehow tend to think that they've become Einstein and they try and impress with big words. Just keep it simple, guys. So that is your first submission. That is your first submission. And you have a very, very clear indication of what we're looking for. So tell us what your paradigm is. Tell us why you've selected, why it's relevant in terms of your research. Please remember to do that. So don't just tell us what your paradigm is, also tell us why it's relevant. Okay. Please make sure that you do that as well. Yeah. And then the quality of sources, no indeeds. Okay. Please make sure that you use peer-reviewed sources. And then, yeah, just emphasizing the importance of your writing style. Please give us headings and subheadings. Please make sure that you follow that layout of the document that I've given you as well. And then that is it, guys. When is this due?
Due on the 22nd.
Of August.
Yes.
Wow.
Did it change? Why
Okay.
is someone saying 20? It's the 22nd. Unless I saw it wrong.
Yeah. I don't think is this one of those where I can extend it, guys? I can't remember. I know that some of these I control the submission dates. Do I control the submission dates for these? Flipping heck, I'll have to check. Okay. Let me just see what it says here. If I control it, we can move it. But what does it say on the pass? As I'm going to stop the recording. So